Hello everyone and welcome to today's session, AI-powered threat hunting for ethical hacking. This is the first session in our series with Sergey Chubarov. I am Shilpa Sharma and I'll be your host for the day. Before we get started, we would like to go over a few house rules for our attendees. The session will be in listen-only mode and will last for an hour, out of which last 15 minutes will be dedicated to Q&A. I'm handing over the mic to you, Sergey.
All right, thank you. So it's time for me to step in. So we have a session, you know probably the name, AI-powered threat hunting for ethical hacking, a kind of long name. What we're going to do here, so here we're going to talk about threat hunting and how AI, of course, can help you with this process. One of the things about threat hunting, so threat hunting is like quite comprehensive process. And I would say in general, if you're just starting your cybersecurity career, maybe threat hunting is something that could be quite complicated. Let's use those words. So I will show you AI in different contexts. Of course, our primary topic is threat hunting, but I will also show you how AI can help you with some like other SOC processes, not only threat hunting, because again, threat hunting, maybe you don't do threat hunting on a daily basis because maybe you do some other things. All right, so that's the plan. As usual, I'm going to show you many demos, but before that, let me say a few words about myself. So my name is Sergey. I'm an instructor, consultant, speak at the conferences. I have some certificate like CEH, of course, CPAN, cloud security engineer, of course. I'm EC Council instructor as well. I will be speaking at the conference Hacker Halted. If you want to attend, so go for it. It will be in person, but also I think online version is available as well. All right, so with that being said, let's start our journey into threat hunting and other topics that can be handled by, I mean, not handled really, but where AI can help. So first of all, I'm going to talk about threat hunting in general, because I'm not sure that you do threat hunting, and maybe you're not really sure what threat hunting is and what's the difference between threat hunting and like investigation, incident handling and so forth. So we're going to cover threat hunting in general, what it is. Then we'll take a look like the place of AI in threat hunting. During the first lecture, by the way, you will understand that threat hunting is the manual process. So AI cannot really make a hunt for you, but it can help, of course. So that's the goal of AI, to help. So we'll take a look at different tools can be used in threat hunting, and we'll see some. I will take some like typical like current one of the emerging threats, and we'll take a look if I can find anything. Not really find anything. I know that I don't have anything like that in my environment, but I will ask our AI to help us with hunt. All right. So first of all, let's take a look what threat hunting is. So threat hunting is proactive approach to cybersecurity, so which involves actively searching for potential threats or vulnerabilities in the network before they can cause damage or disruption. So that's one of the reasons why threat hunting is quite complicated, not really complicated, but quite complex process. Because you don't have any detections, you don't have any alerts, so there are no indicators. Maybe antivirus didn't say anything, but you have to find something which may look like a needle in a haystack. So threat hunting is the process where you just look for information which is not yet give you any alerts or make any damage. So that's about potential threats. So why threat hunting is important? Because it can help organizations detect and respond to security threats before they cause significant damage or disruption, so minimizing the impact of on their organization. Again, if you know that there are some emergent threats and you want to make sure that in your environment you don't have it, even if antivirus or EDR, whatever you have, didn't say anything, in that case, you may just take a look. It can take a manual look, which is like threat hunting. So process of threat hunting involves identifying network activity that is abnormal or suspicious, conducting in-depth investigations to determine whether the activity is threat, and taking steps to remediate the threat if necessary. So we need to dive deeper into logs. So the logs we have, the logs we collected from different sources, or logs we have in our in our operating servers, on our devices, syslogs, and so forth. So a bit more details here. As I mentioned before, threat hunting is the process like proactively look for some threats. And the key word here that has not been detected by traditional security systems. Again, you're looking for something that your traditional system did not find. So if you have like a IDPS system, antivirus, and so forth, if those guys didn't detect anything, now it's your turn to do it manually. So it relies on combination of human intuition. Yeah, that's another reason why threat hunting may be a bit more advanced topic, because you need to know what kind of logs you have, what kind of data you have, and so you must make some assumptions, which we call hypotheses. And so based on that, you will start your hunt. So it's not something that there's no like a pattern that you can use all the time for threat hunting. So a combination of human intuition and technical expertise that identify potential threats. All right, so I hope it makes sense what threat hunting is. So it's not the same as investigation, because investigation, you already have incident, something was detected already, you need to, of course, collect evidence and so forth, but you already have some kind of incident that was detected before. I mean, the alert that was detected or raised in your system, then the incident was created based on that. That's investigation. But in threat hunting, we may not have it. So we need to move without those indicators. So that's a threat hunting. Again, why it's so important? Because, of course it depends. If you're looking for something like probably script kiddies, that's not someone who can bypass all your protection. Of course, it depends on your protection. But if you have like EDR system, many different security systems, then script kiddie will not be your primary goal to find the trace of script kiddies. But maybe professionals that can bypass EDR system, they're much more proficient, and so they can compromise your organization without being detected. So now you need to look at the logs and find out some normal behavior manually. So with threat hunting also, you may find out vulnerabilities that were not detected, not only the attacks, not only threats, but also vulnerabilities. So maybe you're just vulnerable and your system didn't say anything about that. I mean, your VA system. All right, so when we do threat hunting, what we need to do? So first of all, we need to define the scope of hunt. That's where it's really based on your intuition and what are you looking for, because you cannot just try to find everything. So you need to have really narrow scope. Like I'm looking for specific vulnerability, or I'm looking for specific emergent threat, and so forth. So that kind of stuff. So you must define the scope of the hunt. Then collect data. You must have logs. So you can't make hunting if you don't have data that you're going to look for. So you must collect logs from different systems, from your servers, from your network devices, collect syslogs, maybe logs from your EDR system, and so forth. So from your firewalls, depends what do you have. Then we're going to analyze logs. So look for what kind of data we have in our logs. That's the longest process, of course, and find out those anomalies. And the final step is to investigate and remediate threats. So if we found something suspicious, we need to go deeper into that. And so investigate that and if it was really the threat that we must remediate. So that's the process of threat hunting. Not really related to AI, but especially from this slide, you may understand that this process is quite complicated. I mean, it requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of data to be collected and a lot of data to be analyzed. So you may say, wait a second, that's not possible. So all that stuff analyzed manually, I have dozens of logs, maybe gigabytes of logs, thousands of entries, maybe millions of entries. How can I find anything there? And this is true. Threat hunting that requires you to find that stuff manually. But of course, we have tools. We have tools, and we also have AI that should help us with this process. So let's take a look how AI can help us. So first of all, I would like to say a few words about AI itself and why it's so important nowadays, and then we're going to take a look. We're going to combine two things together. So AI refers to the development of computer systems that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning, problem solving, and decision making. Nowadays, the most popular AI example, or maybe not the most popular, but that's something that we hear more often, is generative AI. So if AI imitates human behavior, then generative AI creates new content. So in case of generative AI, you send your input, what we call prompt, and you get the response. You get the response from our AI engine. So the most common example is ChatGPT. Probably that most of you worked with ChatGPT before. So that's the example of generative AI. You send your prompts, you send your natural language, like your questions, your commentaries, and then it gives you a response back. It may be text, it may be images, and so forth. So one more slide about AI in general, and then we'll take a look how can we combine those things together. So when it comes to the generative AI, it's powered by large language models. So large language models, or shortly LLM, they're specialized type of machine learning model that you can use to perform natural language processing tasks. Natural language processing, also known as NLP. So you can do many things with NLP, like determine LLM, determine sentiments or different sentiments and other text. Another interesting part of the text. You can summarize text. You can compare different text together, generate new text, and so forth. So all the stuff can be done by large language model. All right, now let's take a look at how AI can help us with threat hunting. So first of all, please keep in mind that threat hunting, you cannot really automate. It will always be manual process. I don't know, maybe in the future, maybe someday, I don't know. But at this moment, let's say at this moment, that's the manual process still. But we can automate certain tasks. Because you remember, we need to collect a lot of data, we need to analyze data and so forth. But we need to know, really know what kind of queries we need to use to find out, to filter out the data, because we have millions of records. Which query we can use to find out the data we need. So that's where AI really can help us. So AI can be used to automate certain tasks in threat hunting, such as data collection and analysis, and can help identify potential threats more quickly. So you can save time, you can save energy, but you still need to perform hunting yourself. So from here, I would like to jump to demo. And let's take a look at a few things. So first of all, I would like to take a look what kind of emergent threats we have nowadays. And if I open Microsoft XDR, they also have latest threats. Let me remove that menu. And here we have some of the latest threats. So activity profile report from MITRE ATT&CK. No, that's not what I want. malware. By the way, you can see here that I wasn't the victim of any of those, so it didn't find anything. But let's try to do it manually, okay? So I'm gonna click on the vulnerability profile. So if I want to find if my system is vulnerable, and so here's the new vulnerability that was published on the 26th of July. And that's the number, CVE 24, and so forth. You can read it yourself. So privilege escalation vulnerability in ESXi hypervisor that grants an edit user full administrative access by default without proper validation. Nice. So let's see if I can make a search, if I can find it. Just quick spoiler, I don't have ESXi servers, so of course it will not find anything. But I would like to show you how AI can help me to start off. Because, all right, let's say I know that there's a new CVE, there are no alerts, but wait a second, how can I find, where should I start from, which logs I need to take, and so forth. So let me take that CVE in ESXi, let me copy that. And let me open first the tool that's publicly available to everyone, which is called Copilot. So this Copilot is ChatGPT. I mean, it's used ChatGPT 4, but you don't need to pay for this. Yeah, there are also Copilot Pro version, which has less limitations, but even like a free version, you can still use ChatGPT 4. All right, so let me copy that and paste that. And let's ask first. Let's assume I have a Splunk, Splunk as SIEM system, and I would like to find how can I make a search for hunting in Splunk. So let's say I also want to be polite. Please make a query in Splunk to hunt for, and I will keep this vulnerability. It can just say it like that. Should be enough. And all right, I'm gonna send that. And now I get this query. Will that work? We need to test. So one of the things about AI, there are no guarantees. So AI is your helper. Again, we talked about that before. AI will not make everything for you. But looks like it knows what it is. So it says CVE vulnerability affects VMware ESXi and allows attackers to gain unauthorized access to ESXi host. And here's the Splunk query to detect potential exploitation attempts related to this flaw. So if I copy this query and paste into my Splunk, so we can try to find something. Again, there is no guarantee. You need to know the subject. You need to find if it doesn't show anything, then you need to know how to modify it. It gives you ideas. So, and you need to take those ideas, and also you must replace your index and your source with appropriate values for your setup, because it depends on your environment. So it's not just like monkey see, monkey do. So you still need to know the Splunk and the product and so forth. But it definitely saves time. Saves time. So let's assume that I don't have a Splunk. I have something like Sentinel. Let's say thank you. So we should want to be polite. May I have the same for Sentinel, or the same in KQL. So on Sentinel, use KQL in KQL. So here they show me that KQL query. So seems to be fine. Again, if I'm not going to run it like that, it probably will not work because I don't have XI server, but seems to be not bad. I can play a bit if I know that I don't have security event, for example. If I don't have this log, let's say nice. I do have Defender for endpoint, which is EDR system. May have a query based on that. And now it gives me similar, but with a bit different, from different perspective, because now I have a different source, like security event. Again, it's like a bit more details, but security event, that's the event logs that like normally generate in Windows. By the way, if you're nothing's about Linux again. In Windows, and here device events means that I have EDR and it has its own logs. So now it's showing me this how to find the same, but if I have EDR system installed on those servers. So that's what I can do with like absolutely free version of, let's say, ChatGPT. Or we use Copilot, which is used, in fact, ChatGPT for. All right, but this one is really without the context. It doesn't know anything about my data. I need to specify like, oh, I have this device event and so forth. Please use this source. So it doesn't really know my environment. Before I show you the AI that built into the system itself, I would like to compare recommendations from analysts with something that Defender gives to us. I mean, sorry, not Defender, but Copilot, ChatGPT, AI, whatever you call it. If I go back to this page, if I scroll down, here I have analyst report, and it should tell me a bit more about the actual vulnerability. So yeah, it seems to be like, again, I don't want to read everything out loud here, but we can see that net group ESX admins, domain add, so someone add the administrators to this group. So the query seems to be correct. Could be, of course, but it seemed to be correct. If I scroll a bit down, this analyst should give, I mean, that's analyst report, should give me some ideas for hunting. So first of all, suspicious modification of ESX admin group, new group added suspiciously, suspicious Windows account manipulation, compromised account, and conducting hands-on keyboard attacks. So that's what I can check. And they give me also queries. So it's not the same like it was before, but first of all, we find here, if operating system is ESXi, and then we'll look for changes in Active Directory for ESXi admins. So that's a bit different approach here. So previously we saw that changes on the device itself. Here we can see the changes in Active Directory. So again, quite similar, but different source. So that's the same action, the changes of ESX admins, but just a different source. So either way could work. What we need to do, again, we need to know the scope before we can really do it, because if you blindly copy and paste, it may not work. You need to know what are you doing. AI gives you ideas, but will not make any hunt, the full hunt for you. So generally speaking, it's similar, but slightly different. So we see here different source. I can try, by the way, if I go back to my Copilot, I mean ChatGPT, I can say very nice. I also have Defender for identity, which is like, again, it's just a system that monitors my Active Directory changes. May I have a query with this source. It's still telling me about device events, and not really device identity events this time. Not device, not the event in the Active Directory itself. So yeah, from different perspective, because we still changes happen from the device, it could work, but may not be enough. But as an idea, it gives you. So you may check. Okay, so we tried device identity events. We didn't find anything here. But what if we try to do the same on an Active Directory? Oh, we found something. So it gives you ideas. It will not complete hunt for you. All right. Hope it makes sense how it can help you with threat hunting. And now from here, I would like to jump to something more directly integrated. And I would like to show you, oh, that was a bad idea to close it. Let me open it again. And I would like to show you how now different security systems they integrate AI into their products. And if I open the hunting feature, I think it's here, hunting, click on advanced hunting. So AI may get integrated. So there are some previous queries. AI can be integrated into my hunting experience by itself. And there are some prompts I can do right from here. Instead of writing the query, not maybe instead of writing the query, but it may help. It can help me to create a query for me, the base query. So here are some ideas. Try this prompt to start hunting for threats with Copilot. Again, Copilot, that's the, AI implementation that Microsoft has. By the way, questioned by Microsoft because I have it. Just an example. But many companies now work on AI, and they also add different AI features into their security products. Not only security products, by the way. So let's make the same, ask the same question. Where's the window? Yeah. Make a query. Let me remove the word Splunk. Splunk query to hunt for CVE in XXI. So let's wait for response generation. It might take time. It depends how much money I'm ready to pay. Since I'm trying to save, then the response is a bit slower because I provision smaller number of units. So it might take time. Please keep in mind. And while waiting for this, I know it's better to wait before it finishes the response. Otherwise, something may not, other things may not work. So other things I want to show you as well. And go for it. Come on. So now it's looking into my data, not just give me generic answers like I said before, but look into my data and look. So it gives me another one. So how to find out vulnerability? Since I have a source, that look for software vulnerabilities. I mean that's vulnerability assessment system. So there's a potential that I have information about this. And here's the query to find out vulnerable system. So it takes information about CVE. Then it also look for operating system for devices where operating system is ESXi. I don't have them again, but just an example. And we'll show those devices that are vulnerable to the CVE. So that's really about vulnerabilities. But we're looking for something that when it was compromised, right? So yeah, one of the goals of threat hunting is to find out vulnerabilities. Nice, so we found it, good. But I want to make sure that this vulnerability wasn't exploited. So, and I don't have anyone who added themselves to domain ASX admins. So let's say nice. Can I check if this one was exploited? And here I'm just using natural language. By the way, it's not the best prompts. I mean, not the most recommended prompts, because when we provide the prompt, we try to give more information about the context, about the sources, where to take data from, and so forth. But since I'm trying to make a quick demo, I don't want to just write a long sentences. Let's see just like simple conversation if it can give me information. And yeah, something went wrong. So what might happen? What might happen? So it may not understand my prompt, or it may not understand, or it may not understand my prompt, or maybe because I provisions like a small number of units, it may not have enough capacity. So let me try to rephrase it. How can I find? So since I know now, I mean, I know that I need to look for ESX admins. How can I find if group ESX admins was modified? Okay, last chance, because yeah, we have limited time. So last chance, and then I will show you something else and jump back to slides. Okay, thank you very much for this long response. In parallel, let me do one more thing. I'm going to open incidents. So I told you before that threat hunting is quite a complicated process, and maybe not everyone here. Oh, look at this. Oh yeah, so it's a security event and so forth. So it told me how to do it, and there's even button like run query. But every time an AI generates something, it says it may not be correct. So you must know this stuff to check it, because I may say, okay, so it seems to be fair, but I may want to I may want to change it in different locations, in different tables, and so forth. So again, AI gives you ideas, but will not make your complete work for you. All right, so let me close that. And from here, I would like to jump to another page. Do you remember I told you that AI can be used in different contexts? And threat hunting is like, again, it's quite complicated. Threat hunting, it is something that you may not work, you'll definitely not start your career as threat hunter. So threat hunter requires you to know quite a lot. So you may like start like analyst. You may be on the first year, second year, maybe second year is even too much for the career to start your career. So let's take a look at something more that AI can also do for us, but on the lower levels, not only threat hunting. So here I have number of incidents, and here I have complicated incident with 22 alerts. So that was all that stuff generated by me. So let me open it. And here I can see that it's the bunch of alerts. And to really understand and untangle it may be quite complicated, because you can see here a number of users involved, like user JDO, workstation, another user, another workstation, registry values, IP addresses, processes, and so forth. So it could be quite complicated to untangle it, to understand what happened. So if we want to investigate the incident. So what we can do with AI can also take a look at my incident and say like, oh, I found what happened. So let's see. It's still making a summary for me. Okay, let's take a look. Here's a summary. It says this high severity incident, blah, 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 happened on that date and time. And look at this. So that's some different MITRE attacks, MITRE attack phases, how they call it, tactics. So first incident began on this time when the machine made suspicious LDAP query, and the process that made this query was Excel. Okay. From Excel, PowerShell was involved, and it connected to some external IP addresses, so which looked pretty much suspicious. And so there are other processes were involved as well. And from here, yeah, so probably it's not. Let's read that. Involved IP address, and yeah, then attacker was able to access credentials. I'll probably start the reconnaissance. So here we have reverse shell. And then attackers start to look for credentials on the machine, in the registry, on the files, and so forth. It also look for the local emails on the machine and find out, like, they take a look of something on the local machine in the Outlook folder, and so forth. So here we can see how it was summarized. And here are ideas, what can you do? So first of all, classify incident because it wasn't classified, and definitely true positive. Then isolate device. So we make it like, with isolate device, we will just break the attack. We just stop, just get rid of attacker. Then a recommendation for remediation is to like disable account trainer and reset password for account trainer. So that's some ideas what that give me to follow if I would like to like handle this incident. Again, I need to know this. I need to know this stuff, but it definitely saves a lot of time and give you ideas where to look for. All right, so some quick demos. From here, I would like to jump back to slides, and of course, then your questions. So AI also has pros and cons. So let's take a look what kind of, maybe even from demo, you found some pros and like positive sides and negative sides. But let's take a look in more details here. So first, positive. AI-based threat hunting offers faster detection and quick response to potential threats, increased accuracy in detecting anomalies, and improved scalability of threat hunting. Oh, yeah, sounds quite vague, but which is true. It can give me some ideas where I can really start from. And if I move in the right direction, I can then ask AI for more things, because I ask quite generic questions. If you remember, I just look for ASXI, which didn't exist in my environment. But if my scope is really narrow and I have data, then AI can help me even better. At the same time, we have some downsides. So first of all, false positives. Quite often AI may not know the context, especially if you use something like ChatGPT, Copilot, which is just generic. When I ask for it in the chat, not really, it may not know the context. And I must be really, really specific to get the right answer. So it might lead to incorrect threat identification. So you must know that stuff. I told you many times, and we're going to tell you again. So AI will help you, but will not do all the work for you, which is good, by the way. At least at this moment, we'll not lose our job. So they still need us. At least check what AI generates for us. All right. So additionally, there's a need for human oversight, so to ensure AI is working correctly. Yeah. And also one more thing is not being influenced by biased training data, it just depends on what kind of AI we're using. So AI is not something that solve all the problem in security or in any other areas, but can definitely give you a lot of information. So, and if you know the if you know the stuff, and you just start to move faster. All right, so that's about AI. I think it's time to wrap up. So AI can aid the threat hunting process by combining human intuition with AI techniques. You still need your intuition, your expertise, your experience, but AI can give you ideas where to start from, like what may be the next step and so forth. So if I don't have any ideas about, okay, there's ASXI vulnerability, where to find it, I can ask AI, and at least it'll give me a starting point. And then when I get something, I can ask other questions, so I can send my other prompts. What I also can recommend you, if you're going to work with AI, and again, we're going to work with AI, everyone's going to work in AI probably, take a look at the prompting best practices, because I use here quite simple prompts because I want to make it quick when I demonstrate it. But the prompt best practices, but I violate many best practices, because in case of best practice, I must be much more specific. I must tell about my goal. I must specify the context. I must tell from which data source it must take data, for what purpose, and so forth. So take a look at the prompting best practices, because it's everywhere on the web. So organizations can detect and respond to threats before they cause damage. However, human oversight is still necessary to ensure that AI is working correctly. All right, so from here, I would like to jump to the last slide where you can ask your questions. Yeah, so as far as I know, you have a lot of questions, and it's time to answer them.
So thank you very much, Sergey, for delivering such an insightful and informative session. We found the webinar very engaging and hope it was valuable for you as well. Now, before we begin with the Q&A, I would like to inform all the attendees that the session is in sync with EC Council CEH program. EC Council CEH certification is mapped to a variety of roles in the cybersecurity industry, including ethical hacker, security analyst, security consultant, site administrator, and network management executive. LinkedIn 2022 lists over 1,000 jobs seeking ethical hacking skills worldwide. And if you're interested in learning more, please participate in the poll being conducted now. Let us know your preferred mode of training and we will reach out to you. Individuals holding the CEH certification earn an average annual salary of $96,000 in the United States. So, Sergey, shall we start with the Q&A?
Yeah, sure. Can AI help come up with threat intelligence framework? Good question. Good question. I would say AI can come up with everything. AI can come up with everything. And if you saw the my XDR system I showed you, there are some AI built-in features. It depends. Again, it will not. It may not give you everything. It may not automate everything that you have in your threat intelligence, and so you still need to check all of those indicators of compromise and so forth in your threat intelligence framework. But yeah, of course. What is the best source for prompt best practices? Oh, this one. Prompting best practice. There are even trainings available. For that. Oh, okay. AI prompting best practices. So how to implement it responsibly. Art of AI prompt, let's open that. And so forth. So, and here they even give you like better prompts. Of course, you may not find a prompt specifically for your case. Of course, over time, we're going to find a different prompts. It will, like, enthusiasts will create new prompts, but the prompt structure you may find in this kind of pages. So effective prompts and so forth. So look for effective prompts, best practice for prompting, and so forth. Is any particular tools you use except from AI to help you in Linux and Windows? What is your secret weapon? Hands-on. I think I say it every time. So if you want to, I'm not sure for what, secret weapon to do what, because weapon is something that we just want to use somehow. But I'm trying to do everything. If I hear about something, I try to check it. I'm trying to do it. Even if I read about some exploits I want to try, I try it. So like hands-on, I think that's my, it's not a secret, really a secret, that's something that I'm trying to use to really understand things. So if you wanna, still I don't have any new questions so far. Help with Windows Linux, just try it. Deploy Linux, deploy Windows, find out articles. There's lots of tons of free videos on the YouTube and other sources, and try it yourself. Try tools, try labs, try to compromise machines. I mean, not a real machine, of course, but cyber ranges. All right. So I'm still confused with difference between ethical hacking and threat hunting, seeing that both are proactive exercises. Oh, those kind of questions you can ask, by the way, to ChatGPT and others and other stuff. I would say in general, ethical hacking is quite broad term. So you can even ask what is the difference between ethical hacking and threat hunting. And while it's answering, I'm going to answer it myself. So ethical hacking is quite broad term. So ethical hacking is. Oh, by the way, if you participate in the previous webinar, I compared ethical hacking and pen testing. So ethical hacking in general, that's like offensive approach. It's something we quite often use another word, pen testing. It's not really the same, because pen testing is more like when we have a scope, when we have very specific machines that we want to test. Ethical hacking is more like a broad term when we use like tools and techniques that attackers use to find out if machine is vulnerable. Threat hunting is completely different. In case of threat hunting, we dive into logs that we have to find out vulnerabilities and exploit, and the fact that we were exploited. So in case of ethical hacking, we're trying to simulate some hacker techniques. In threat hunting, we're looking for facts that we've been compromised. So threat hunting, that's diving into logs, and ethical hacking, that's where we're trying to use tools and techniques that usually attackers use. Okay, so next question. What is the best from beginning roadmap would you suggest us to go through to make sure ourselves are best cybersecurity guy with use of AI? I don't know, even the roadmap. Good question. how can we start from the beginning and make sure that we become the best. I would repeat the same over time, that do it every time. And in general, try to, first of all, it depends really on your budget. Of course, if you have like if you can afford some courses, like, okay, let's promote CH and so forth, they also contain information about AI nowadays, and many other things, of course, about security. If you can afford it, nice, it will save time. You'll be able also to practice, which is also very important, and you'll be able to like work with machines and labs and so forth. If you can do it, do it. If not, it's not the end of the world. You can still study for free yourself. It will take longer, but what you can do, you can deploy something like virtual machines on your desktop, find out some like free courses, free videos on the internet, and start from the basics. There are even courses like maybe there are small courses and quality not guaranteed, but if you're in the beginning, it will still be beneficial, because what is good about when you're in the when you start your journey, almost any information you can find can be useful. When you become an expert, you need to really filter a lot before you can find something handy. But in the beginning, that's a big benefit. You can find out a lot of useful information from everywhere. So depends on your budget. Again, if you can afford, take a course. If you cannot, try to find something on the internet. There are even a number of courses that are available for free. And just the most important, do it, try it. Okay, so okay, that, and the last question that I can handle, because we have time limitations. Can I use AI for monitoring threat based on the latest threat identified worldwide? You can try, but again, AI is the helper. AI can help you, but will not. So if there's no detection, doesn't mean that nothing happened. So yeah, AI, you may like use AI to get to like analyze your logs and compare that with some emergent threats. You can do that. It requires some work, by the way, but no guarantees. So the key that I want you to remember about AI, at least at this moment, maybe like 5 something years after, it won't be a case, but at this moment, AI can help us, but it still requires a lot of human intervention. So it will not detect everything for you. All right, so that's the last question I can handle. And now, Shilpa, over to you.
Thank you again, Sergey, and thank you for answering those questions and for the great presentation and knowledge shared with our global audience. It was a pleasure to have you with us, and we are looking for more and more sessions with you. Now, before we conclude the webinar, Sergey, would you like to give a small message to our audience?
So the message here is to don't try to resist. Don't try to resist when in using new technologies, because I see that AI, like different people work differently with AI and have different perspective on that. So some of them are very excited. Oh, well, that's cool. That we now we have this intelligent system with intelligent helper assistant. But at the same time, there are a number of specialists that try to resist and say, oh, that we can lose our jobs, or this guy is stupid. He doesn't know my scope. I mean, my data and so forth. Could be. I mean, may not know your data, but doesn't make any sense to resist, because the industry will push AI. It will use AI more and more, and the earlier you can start to work with AI, then better professional you become over time. So AI, that's the new reality, and we have to use it, even if you don't like it or not. but use AI on your daily work.
Thank you, Sergey, for your message to our audience.